is the real Ninjor, evil master of martial arts. Will Clamp Champ get a hold of him? I have the power. Figures sold separately. New from the masters of the universe, Ninjor and Clamp Champ. Evil skill against steel grip.
That is definitely one of my favorite action figure commercials of all time. Hello, thank you so much for joining me. This is David Clark, once again, owner of AdultCollector.org. Today, I want to take a very special look at the new Origins Clamp Champ figure. Yes, I was able to track him down along with Ram Man recently at a Target in Seattle. So let's dig into a nice detailed review. I hope you enjoy it. I am a huge fan of the line's focus on the vintage toy line. And I love that Mattel's mixing things up by giving us figures now that didn't show up until the late 80s. Here you can see Clamp Champ was released in 1987 along with Sorceress, Scareglow, and Ninjor, all of which we're seeing now in the Origins line. By the way, I really hope we get those dinosaurs in the line too. Tyrannosaurus Rex was one of my top 10 favorite toys as a kid. Here's the vintage mini-comic that Clamp Champ was featured in, The Search for Keldor. A very memorable comic for me because it featured some of my favorite villains and because I felt very strongly that those villains, Faker, Ninjor, and Scareglow, could have been featured much more prominently in those early stories. Here we learn that Clamp Champ is an incredibly skilled fighter as he easily defeated both Scareglow and Ninjor without the use of his clamp weapon. I'm very curious why Mattel chose not to include his weapon in the comic. Alright, let's have a look at the figure's packaging design. It's interesting to see how Mattel was able to design the Clamp Champ accessory just small enough to squeeze into the bubble on the front of the card. I can just imagine the original toy designers having a discussion about this. I appreciate so much that these designs look so close to the vintage ones, complete with the red rocks and blue sky. And we can thank the Mattel's key lead packaging designer Roy Juarez for this. He's another longtime Masters fan. You know, I interviewed him as part of a news article that I wrote for these toys last year. He said that he was really excited to build his collection with his daughter. I'll go ahead and link that article in the description of the video. Of course, we have got to look at the back of the packaging. Look at this gorgeous artwork from Alex and Francisco. Again, just spoiling us with their talent. In the upper right corner, look at that, is that a Serpentator from the MYP cartoon? I really wonder. I love that show. And there, of course, there's King Randor with his spear, almost looking like he's ready to throw it at Faker, just like in the mini comics. In fact, I heard that possibly this shot is right out of the mini comics that come with the wave that Ninjor comes with. So I'm very excited. I'm hoping to get that wave soon so I can check out the mini comic. And Robert Rudman, he provided the story text for the packaging. Here you can see Clamp Champ is a master of hand-to-hand combat. Clamp Champ is an invaluable ally in the fight against evil. You know, every time you see Clamp Champ, he's defending the king, so he's like King Randor's personal guard. I love it. And this time he's actually using his Clamp Champ weapon against Ninjor. It's very well drawn here, too. The rest of the packaging gives us even more beautiful artwork to enjoy. That's the instructions on the left there showing us how to use the Techno Clamp, and on the right, kind of a checklist of additional characters in the line, including Clamp Champ there on the bottom. And yeah, those are actual digital artwork. And there he is, Clamp Champ, right next to the vintage figure, and look at how closely he matches the old toy. Especially with the clamp, just the sculpt of it looks identical to the old toy. And you'll notice that the new Clamp Champ figure has a round bracer on his arm instead of the elongated bracer that's on the old figure. The armor on his chest is a brighter blue color. It doesn't connect like the old design. It's a kind of a soft gummy plastic as opposed to the hard plastic, and so you won't see those tabs on the top because of it. Otherwise, yeah, the sculpt is the same. You know, the head design, it's pretty nice. I think, as in terms of redesigns go in this line, Yeah, they did a great job. Maybe because I honestly didn't have the vintage Clamp Champ figure growing up as a kid in 1987. I think maybe by then I was onto Ninja Turtles or something like that. But yeah, I still would prefer the vintage head sculpt. Yeah, which it looks very vintage, very very classic. Of course, I would wish that all of the Origins heads would be sculpted just like the vintage ones, but oh well, that's the direction of the toy line. I do hope they come out with more heads that look a bit more vintage, along with the accessories, of course, like He-Man's shield and sword and axe and things like that. And here's a quick look at the back of the figure, again looking very close to the vintage design, the color, the sculpt, fantastic work from Mattel. I want to show you their articulation, and I want to show you a change that they made to the clamp accessory. You'll find the articulation is very similar to other figures in the line. You've got plenty of swivel action in the head. You can twist it around, of course. And in the arm, plenty of articulation there, and at the elbow. Takes a bit of work, but you can get it to twist and turn. And at the wrist, lots of wrist action there. You've got the swivel at the waist, and the legs split apart very easily, and the knee. I want to show you that this knee, the two parts of the leg, are connected by a very thin piece of plastic, and some collectors have been sharing their photos of their figures, breaking at that joint. So you have to be a bit gentle with it. Here's the boot. You can twist it. You can, you've got a lot of articulation at the ankle right here. A rocker joint. All right. And it's not advertised, but yeah, you can take apart the figures, swap them with other parts from other figures, and here with the deluxe set, you've got the second head. And you can remove the arm. Right there at the shoulder. And you can remove the hand. And here's the original piece that comes with the figure. There you go. And here's his second accessory, which you'll notice comes from the Classics line. Let's compare the new head with the original one that comes with the figure. And putting them side by side, it almost looks like he has a dual personality, which I actually really like. It kind of reminds me of Harvey Dent, Two-Face from Batman.
So what do you say, Harvey? Do we have a deal?
There's just one problem.
What's that?
You're talking to the wrong Harvey.
All right, let's look at the other toys, the goodies that come with Clamp Champ. Here's, of course, his main weapon, the clamp weapon. You can see it has kind of a nice, natural shine. It's not painted, and it's not as shiny as Ram Man, but it's pretty nice. And here's the peg. It kind of wiggles. It's not. I'm surprised it's not part of the mold. It's its own piece. But yeah, you just press down the button, the pincers come out. And I'm very surprised that with the old toy, you would actually, as you pulled on or pressed on the button, it would, the pincers would come out, but you had control over them. You could, as you saw in the toy commercial, you could make them open and close. But with this one, it's just the release by pressing the button straight down, and then you just have to, put them back. You can't, once they're out, all you can do is fold them back in. So yeah, there's the weapon. And here is a real treat. This is easily worth the money that you pay for the figure alone, in my opinion. This is the Battle Armor Reborn mini-comic. The story's by Robert Rudman of Mattel. The colors are done by Val Staples, who owns the PowerCon convention and He-Man.org. It features all of the initial deluxe figures, as you can see. And I will be putting a link to the scans of this comic down in the description. It's worth mentioning that all of the deluxe figures come with a little pamphlet like this showing you which parts can be removed from the toy. I'm sure it's put there so that people don't accidentally pull parts off that they're not supposed to. To help you purchase these amazing toys, I'm adding a link to a buyer's guide video in the description, along with a links and codes thread that you can find in the announcements on the 24,000 member Origins fans group on Facebook. Clamp Champ joins the ranks of our heroic warriors as they defend our toy shelves from the evil forces of Skeletor. I am so happy we're getting him in our collections. By the end of this year, we should have lots of Origins figures to enjoy and news of more on the way. I am really looking forward to it. Until next time, stay safe and good journey, everyone.